right?
Game 2 for week 2 of the 2025 Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl. It is an exciting matchup ahead. SIFA versus SEEC. In their second year of existence, the Tennessee Tigers look to build off of the momentum they had in 2024. Meanwhile, for the Augusta Eagles, a good season in the SIFA, total record of 7-5 on the positive end. Both teams trying to have a great start to their 2025 campaigns. The Tigers already 1-0, trying to start out 2-0 this season with Augusta in their first matchup of the year. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Blake Biggs. Preston McElhaney joins us on the sidelines. Proud to be with you in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Blake, both these teams, not necessarily the records they wanted. I mean, you could talk about Augusta and how they had a positive record, but only 2 games above 500. But for the Tigers, in talking with Coach Adams, he mentioned that they were really excited, and he felt they were better than they were last year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know the Tigers, they've really, their roster has grown quite a lot, picked up a couple players in the offseason. And just looking at this game, there's a ton at stake. You got an undefeated record at stake for both teams. Augusta would be 1-0 if they win, and Tennessee Tigers would be 2-0 if they win. But we're forgetting the most important thing. James is going to get dunked if Augusta wins. So, the Eagles out of the SIFA, the Southeastern Independent Football Association, and the Tigers out of the SEEC. Sorry, too many E's there. Southeastern Extreme Conference. Yeah. Headed by yours truly, James Shannon. So
Just treat us with respect. We'll treat you with respect. My visiting team will call you Blue. The coin. Make sure you call it loud enough so that Greg can hear it. Ready? Call it.
Tails.
Tails it is. It is heads. You want the football, correct? On my. All right, right here, guys. The Eagles have won. The Tigers to defer to the second half. The Tigers will reach the ball. All right, shake hands, man. Get your teams ready.
The start the Tigers wanted. They will get the ball to start out with the Eagles deferring. You mentioned the Tigers and how they reloaded in the offseason, getting transfer players in Graham Russell and Isaac Orbke. And Graham Russell, the first-team all-conference wide receiver for Southeastern Extreme Conference last year, and for good reason with the incredible year he had in 2024 with the Tennessee Heat.
yeah, Tigers returning, a lot of players back. A lot of talent to look out for. I talked with coach from Augusta. He says he's got a lot of talent come back too. Most of his defensive line has come back, and that is something that Augusta likes to do. They like to shake it up on the D-line. They like to, send a blitz, wreak havoc for the offense, really kill the drive. So should be interesting to see, what Augusta's defensive game plan is. Do they rely on their linebacking core? Are they going to try and, fill the A-B gaps? Are they going to try and contain? How does Tennessee respond to that? How do the Tigers respond to that? I know you said Graham Russell's going to be a big component for the Tigers. How much are they going to use him today? Obviously Tigers came off a strong win versus a very solid Chattanooga Patriots team who came off against a tough 8-point loss to the Christian Community Colts out of White House, Tennessee. Of course, Augusta, they've got a season ahead of them, but getting ready to kick off what should be a fantastic game, Spencer.
The Augusta Eagles head coach and Joshua Whiting mentioned that they have a team pride in defense, and they felt that it solidified after their opening game here in the Smokies last year against Tri-Cities. And away we go with Game 2 in this afternoon contest for high school 8-man football kickoff, as this will be returned on the left side here. And the Tigers return Owen Lane, the junior, will take it to about the 15-yard line. And the only player returning to the Tigers roster this year who had any sort of passing stats, Ethan Musser, who was 6 for 17, 153 yards in passing. So we'll see if Musser is the one who is used, might use some other options with other players they have. If there's one thing we know about Coach Adams and his offensive coordination is that he can utilize anybody on the field and bring out the best in them.
So they line up in kind of like a spread formation. That's something I was going to mention. The Tigers like to spread it out like they do right here as they go in motion.
Right on cue there, Blake, as they send several to the outside. And it will be Owen Lane. I beg your pardon, that is Ethan Musser, shotgun.
Yeah, right there the receiver just jumped. Looked like he was willing to split the middle of the field, whether it be a cross route, post, or even a slant. Just anticipated it too early, and now they're staring at a 1st and a long.
Move back 5 yards here. As Musser, in his second game starting at the quarterback position, gets a good pass off to Aaron Mann, the senior, who did not have a catch on the 2025 campaign. Let's go ahead and hand it down to our sideline reporter, Preston McElhaney. Preston? We'll hear from Preston in a minute. A little bit of technical difficulties as Armstrong will get the ball on the left side, avoiding several tackles. Asher Armstrong had only 33 rushing yards in the 33 rushing yards last game, and he's got a big chunk gain there, almost about 70 yards.
Yeah, we see the replay right here. Armstrong just breaks it out. He hugs that sideline, and, that's a solid run right there. Gets the outside, gets right inside the 10, and just cannot make just does not have enough speed right there.
Foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 77 on the offense. That'll be a spot foul, 15 yards. It'll be 1st down.
It was a good run, but ruled back with that personal foul, and we have an Augusta Eagle down early. So we have and you certainly hope with only about 1 minute and 16 seconds in that the young man on the field at the 50 right now is going to be okay. Good to see he's back up, or at least he's sitting up a little bit and now pulled back up by his coach. Looks like from Augusta, that's Carter Cross, the sophomore, a little bit shaken up on that play. Especially when you have big plays like that, when you see a flag 9 times out of 10, it's going to come back due to a penalty on the other side there.
And it's unfortunate because that can break a drive. I mean, that really can be a backbreaker for your offense because, I feel like offense is a lot about excuse me, it's a lot about momentum. I was about to say motion, which it is. A lot about momentum and staying hot. So we'll see how the Tigers respond right here.
Well, if there's one thing neither of these teams have to worry about is staying hot. 85 degrees here with the turf field adding about 10. And we got a 1st and 10 from the 35 after the personal foul and encroachment. That's Jake Ferguson who went across the line.
Prior to the snap, and on the defense, 5 yards remains first down.
Yeah, solid play right there to get them on the hard count and draw them off sides, get a little bit of compensation for the that backbreaker penalty. You know, it's kind of tit for tat right there. Just, you know, give one, get one.
Another 5-yard gain there to the 40 with the penalty and a high snap. Pitched forward, a good maneuvering Aaron Mann to try and make something of nothing. Pitched it to his teammate Dylan Spears, but good awareness by Hans Brace and George Lawson to shut it down.
And Spencer, that's exactly what I was talking about right there. You know, like I said, Augusta's coach, he said to us, we're gonna blitz this ball. We're gonna go right down the middle and we're gonna send it at your throat. And they did right there. Great alignment right there by the defensive line.
Well, I think we got things worked out. Down to Preston McElhaney. Preston?
Oh, yes, it's a big fighting field here in Gatlinburg. We have a team on its 2nd year ever competing against a team with a little bit more experience. Lots of good things to expect from this game with the young and experienced versus the veterans. We can't wait to see what happens here. We'll send it back to you, Spencer.
Drew McGarry gets tripped up in the backfield. Thank you there, Preston, as how about George Lawson 2 plays in a row, the freshman getting involved on the tackle?
Yeah, right there they kind of do a little in-out maneuver. They hit the C gap right there and just hit it for a good loss right there on yards. Really contained the edge well right there. That's something that's really valuable in a defense like Augusta is you can go in and out. You got a guy who can contain and a guy who can just crash the middle.
Third down and 14. Here's Musser under pressure from Brace. A deep toss right side, tripped up and somehow made the catch. That's why Graham Russell is such a valuable player to this Tennessee Tigers team, even when he gets tripped up on his own feet.
Yeah, that was a fantastic catch right there. Kind of backspins right there and just fires it, finds his man. And what a catch, too. You know, to stay, he falls down to the ground, but his head is still up. He's still looking for the ball. What great concentration right there to haul that ball in. Great play overall right there for the Tigers. And for the Eagles, man, that sucks. You know, getting back-to-back sacks and the Tigers do that. Dude, we're in for a good game, man. This is going to be fun.
I would like to give Musser credit there and say that was a perfectly placed pass, but Graham Russell doesn't trip on his own feet. It's not there, but still good to get it in the area there from the junior. As he faces pressure, good release to Russell, who's got another catch. Nathaniel Reese on the tackle. Russell with another reception.
Yeah, great play right there. They send the line. We'll see if it pops up. Does not. The line just kind of pulls up, plays up. And there's a flag on the play. Save that thought.
Had a decent amount of dirty laundry on the field in the first contest, and already 3 times we've had yellow towel thrown down here at Legion Field.
You hate to see it, but, you know, this is a great back-and-forth ball game so far defensively.
Yards, replay first down.
Didn't see the signal on what he called there, but moved back. It's like 5 yards for a 1st and 15.
So even though there were, you know, 2 to 3 Eagles back there, you know, in the backfield that almost had the sack, this virtually does the same effect of a sack. Both teams just got to clean it up if they want their offense to move fluidly today.
1st and 15, Musser. He's got another opportunity for Russell over the top, beat the defender. The Tigers get on the board first.
Yeah, great throw right there. You know, just popped the seam in the coverage as we see the fantastic replay right here. Just drops back, has virtually all day to throw, and just over the top, just head tops his man and just trots into the end zone. That is a fantastic throw. That is a fantastic route by the Tennessee Tigers. And great throw, too. He's been putting it on a rope today, Spence.
Graham Russell was a big question mark heading into the season, had hamstring issues. Mentioned at Seek Media Day that it was motivation for him to return. He wasn't able to play in the Jamboree a couple weeks ago. And last week, Coach Adams talked about as this PAT goes up and is good from Isaac Orbkey. Russell talked about how it was a motivational factor for him, and Adams even said, well, we wanted to limit him in last week's game against Chattanooga, but then he scored a touchdown on the first pass to him. So it's not showing any signs. He mentioned that Russell would get some targets and get some work in today, and he's already got the first score of the game.
Yeah, Russell, man, you got to watch out for Russell this year. He looks to be good.
Now the question is, how do the Augusta Eagles respond here? Coach Whiting interviewed a couple of weeks ago here on the 8-Man Extreme Talk and mentioned how their motto this year was be intentional. And you wonder on the offensive side, get to see him drive down the field here, what that sort of looks like. Mm-hmm. And he also talked about how they wanted to focus on a community and the wins would follow, which speaks to the character of Coach Whiting and the sort of culture he's building in Martinez, Georgia.
Yeah, and something I saw out is the defensive line played very intentional that last drive. Just looked like, not the game planning was bad, but the safeties and the linebacker and the secondary just wasn't all there. They weren't being quite intentional. They just hadn't woke up yet. I don't know if they got like a late start, late breakfast, but man, if I'm coach right now, I'm saying, hey, lock in, guys. We've got to stay on them.
Orbkey for the kickoff. Low drive and the return here by Kendall Hilliard. Jr. will get sandwiched between two Tigers, between Koch and Orbkey. And we'll see the offense for the first time in Augusta. And Nathan Vaseller was the only player, or is the only player. He is the only player on the roster here that has any passing statistics from last year with the returning players. As Vaseller will try in his junior year to get things going here for this Eagles offense.
Yeah, it's always great to have a returning upperclassman at the helm of your offense.
This will be an attempted run up the gut. Pelham Inglet, senior, had 13 carries for almost 100 yards, 92 to be exact. Anytime he carried it last year, it was about 7 yards, and gets chunk there for about 2 to 3.
Yeah, not a bad play call right there at all. Just the Tigers, saw that hole. They saw that gap that the running back went in, and they just filled it. Great job by the linebacker crew, excuse me.
Quick toss right side. Yeah, it's a good catch there. That's Finley Griggs, the senior, with the reception.
Yeah, great little cross route right there as we see on the replay. Looked like maybe a play fake was going to happen. Just crosses up the defense, and great route technique right there by the wide receivers. They get their safeties and their corners over the other side of the field, so that leaves Griggs exposed. And solid pickup right there, solid pass too.
Finley Griggs, one of those players who doesn't have any stats there, but regardless, here goes a direct carry for Pelham Inglet down the sideline. Beg your pardon, that's Vaseller, who just took it himself. Good rush for 50-plus yards and a touchdown for the Augusta Eagles.
Yeah, fantastic read right there by the quarterback. Just gets upfield and he hugs that sideline, and he used that space perfectly to trot it in for 6.
Vaseller leads the team of those who were on the roster in 24 with rushing touchdowns at 6, carried it 37 times for 321 yards, and a big burst play to give a response from that opening drive for the Tigers. Now Finley Griggs just caught that pass earlier, goes for the extra point, and he's got it through the uprights. Very rare you see two teams that have a kicker to be able to do PATs.
You know, I was just about to mention that. Yeah, no, in the game of 8, man, it's just kind of a thing of, you know, these smaller schools don't really have kickers. Some of them don't even have soccer programs and homeschool programs. Thought I should mention that. And even public schools. You know, kickers are kind of a rare breed, especially nowadays. Nobody wants to kick. Everybody wants to be a running back, quarterback, wide receiver. They just want the stats. They want the film. They want to look good on offense. Yeah, no, it's something I can appreciate, Spence, after, you know, playing 8-man and watching it so many times. It's where you see two teams have solid kickers. And, man, those kicks had some mustard on it too. So,
because if I'm not mistaken, you didn't have a kicker during your days, right?
Grant, but he wasn't great.
I'm sure if Grant's watching, I wonder if he'd agree or disagree with that. Well, 7-all, about 5 and change left in this opening quarter. Got a total of 3 games that are set to occur throughout the rest of the day here at Rocky Top Sports World. 2 more here at Hammond Stadium, 1 more on field number 6. A lot of football, for those who missed high school football very much back, starting last week here in the Smokies. Tigers here on the return. Owen Lane takes it again, cuts to find an opening. He'll get wrapped up at the 35-yard line by the sophomore Eli Reese, and the Tigers will get back to work on offense.
Yeah, solid run right there in return by Owen Lane. You know, just kind of looked upfield, and Owen Lane found his lane and cut up, run it real good, and good job by the special teams right there to limit the damage. And man, I'm curious to see what the Augusta Eagles draw up right here. They're probably going back to the chalkboard right now. Are we going to see some inside blitz? Are we going to see some more linebacker shade zone? Or are we going to see more contain?
Plenty that you could see with this Tiger scheme. Quick toss right side, catch made, Aaron Mann. Aaron Mann to the 39-yard line, gain of 3.
Yeah, if I'm Augusta Eagles right now, man, I'm sending the heat on a strong side because he's rolling out. He's starting to roll out. We've seen the quarterback can run. He's got some wheels on him and he can move. So I'm playing a little bit of contain, but I'm playing contain weak side and I'm sending the heat to his strong side. So that way he can't reverse field, he can't move out, he can't cut upfield as they line up in a single shotgun formation here.
Credited for a gain of 4 on that play. 2nd and 6. And just taking it himself is Musser. He's got a first down. He'll be spotted between the 46 and 47-yard line.
Yeah, I guess Musser heard what I was saying, and he just chopped it upfield, and linebackers looked like they were playing a little bit of man right there. And, man, just nobody was assigned to him. There wasn't a helmet to that hat, so got a solid run. Good first down for the Tigers.
Tigers 2-6 on the 2024 campaign. All of their games were against Southeastern Extreme Conference teams. Opened up their schedule a little more this year. They had a win at the Chattanooga Patriots last week, 36-8. Trying to go 2-0 for the first time in program history. Handoff, man. Gets pulled down for maybe a yard gain on the play. Good awareness on the defensive side by Luke Reese, who had 42 tackles last year, 26 on his own.
Yeah, and you said it right there. That was good awareness by the defense. You know, just played man, had somebody assigned to him, and just went after him. Just went after him. That's hunger right there, and solid wrap-up for little to no gain, Spence.
Total no gain on a 2nd and 10, but they'll get an extra 5 yards on the encroachment.
Prior to the snap, 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
Man, if you're Augusta, that's brutal. That's brutal. You hold them to a 2nd down after letting up a few big plays, and you know they get that much close to the 1st down. If I'm Augusta, I may want to drop a few people back in pass coverage right now.
Moved up 5 yards across midfield, 2nd and 5. Musser is going to air it out on the right side. Got a target in coverage. What a catch. Great reception there. Got the better of Levi Fulbright, and the Tigers have gone deeper into the territory of the Eagles.
Man, that's a great throw right there. But can we talk about the protection of the Tigers? Man, he had all day. He could set up a couch back there. That was incredible right there. Great throw, too, and fantastic catch all around.
And who else but Graham Russell to make plays like that, too?
Oh, yeah.
And Russell, they've got him on the outside. Here's Musser going to go across the middle. Great catch in between 2 players. Good needle and thread to Spears. He'll get inside the 10 for a 1st and goal.
Yeah, and solid catch right there by Spears. Look at the big man rolling right here. He pulls it up. A little bit of pop play right there. Just Russell hits, or excuse me, not Russell. Musser hits it, and big man carries it for a couple. Gets upfield, and now they're in the red zone.
Steve Adams' coordinated offenses march down the field. A decent chunk here. Musser keeping it. Avoids several tackles. Might have an outlet through the middle. And good tackle there at about the 4-yard line. Potentially a touchdown-saving tackle there for John Wilson.
Yeah, I like the way this Musser guy plays. He can throw it, he can run it, and he can improvise right there. You know, what looked like to be like a, 5, maybe even 10-yard sack right there, he turns into, something, maybe 1 or 2 yards. It's not really about the, what happened, what actually happened. It's damage control right there when you have plays like that. So, again, James says it best. Great way to make chicken pot pie out of chicken scratch.
There's Musser in the shotgun. High snap. He had man to his left, but still able to make it go, but it's an interception. Picked off by Levi Fulbright, the freshman, in the end zone.
Yeah, and you hate to see that.
Referee announcing the touchback there, but picked off in the end zone.
Yeah, and just a miscommunication right there on the Tigers' part. Man, if I'm on the sideline of the Tigers right now, I'd say, hey, come on, let's pop them. Let's get up and let's put our helmet through their head. We've got to get momentum back because after, driving what seems so long, you turn it over on a miscommunication. If you fold right here, good luck the rest of the way, or the rest of the quarter, the rest of the half. You've got to get momentum back right here. You got to put a statement on the Eagles.
And how about Levi Fulbright in his first game in varsity football as a freshman getting that interception within the first quarter. And here's a big burst of speed to the outside, trying to get past the man, and one of the big plays for the Eagles, Nathan Vossler has got a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, kind of like I said, you've got to contain the man right there, and you got to put a helmet on him. Looked like the defensive line was a little too passive right there, and he cuts up sideline. Great run right there by the quarterback, and give the Birds 6.
Well, they gave him 7. They changed it to 14-7. I guess they're assuming the PAT will be automatic.
Well, you can never make assumptions like that, Spence.
I'm not the one.
No, I know. I'm just messing with you.
It's also on this scoreboard. It is difficult. Once they add a point, they have to continue to go up to reset it. There's no -1, at least from what we've noticed the last couple of times we've been here. Let's hope Finley Griggs has got this. It's blocked. PAT block And a tradition unlike any other. Players still thinking in high school football they can return the ball on a PAT and or two-point conversion attempt.
I don't think you realized it, but you said a tradition unlike any other when broadcasting a team from Augusta, Georgia. Was that intentional?
Well, Coach Whiting said he doesn't know anything about golf, so that's
Yeah.
the other funny thing too.
Man, he killed my question. I had a
yeah,
a bomb
that was
question,
you.
dude. I was like, I'm a big PGA fan. I love the game of golf. I play golf. But, man, how are you from Augusta, Georgia, and don't know anything about it? Sorry. That's my little tangent. I'm done.
No, I mean, we didn't get the chance to talk with him pregame, but he said in your interview one of his assistant coaches did go to Scotland, and he was talking golf, and he said, this is all gibberish to me. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So from Augusta, around that area in Martinez, and 13-7 with under 14 seconds left to go in this opening quarter.
Yeah, and Coach, if you're listening back on this, it's all love. I'm just messing with you. I saw, I believe it was you saluting on the sideline during the national anthem. So just want to give a shout out and just say thank you for your service, sir.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, service not just the armed forces, but also his service running both the offense and defense of his respective team. As this return from the Tigers, Owen Lane trying to find an opening, he gets brought down by Finley Griggs.
Yeah, and Lane right there, road closed right there by the Eagles. They kind of meshed them in, kind of flankered them in, and got them to squeeze in the middle. And nothing was going right there. That's a great drop right there by the Eagles of Augusta. You don't really see like special teams like drawing up plays. Sometimes in like Madden, you just pick kick off middle and go. But there really is a lot of strategy, X's and O's on the special team side. I don't know if you'd ever notice that or not, but.
Definitely, if you talk to any of these coaches, it goes way beyond the X's and O's. There's a whole lot of work that goes into the coordination side.
A lot of thought, too.
Here's Musser. Another high snap, but able to handle it comfortably. Incomplete off of the hand of Spears.
Yeah, and right there, just another miscommunication as that'll be the end of the first quarter.
We had a score on both teams' opening offensive drives and a big burst play from the Eagles to end the first quarter here in the Smoky Mountains. Start of the second quarter in game 2 of 5 in total from the Smokies today. 6-point lead for Augusta over Tennessee. Here's to the right side. Flag is thrown. Catch is made. Spears with a good reception. Brought down by Reese. But we'll check the penalty.
Yeah, and solid blitz right there as we get the call from the white gap.
Replay second down.
One of the rare times you see offensive pass interference.
Yeah. And I will say, as I was saying earlier, interrupted by the field judge. It was a solid cross route, but, you know, the Eagles, man, they got to get back there quicker. I mean, they're sending, you know, a couple guys, and they're getting back there, but they're –
They'll wind the clock, a 2nd and 20. Tigers pinned deep in their own territory for the time being. So try to quickly get it out. Catch made. Asher Armstrong, the senior, has got some open space on the field. Gets past his man. One more to beat. He's still getting chased down by Nathaniel Reese. Tried to cut inside to get past him. Reese with a touchdown-saving tackle, but Asher Armstrong with a big burst of speed just outside the 30.
Yeah, as we see the replay here, he just dumps it off the fade route, and, man, he just maneuvers that open space as we get more dirty laundry on the field.
And 9 times out of 10, they bring it back when these things usually happen. So I would not be surprised if we've got an offensive penalty on the reception.
Block in the back. 3 on the offense. That'll be a spot fight. Replay second down.
Dawson Toller called for the penalty.
Warning.
And a sideline warning given for the Tigers as well. You know, Steve Adams, he known him for years, to the days when he was at Franklin Christian and throughout the program. He's a very passionate guy when it comes to the coaching side. Usually the one warning is where he's good. But that's definitely one of those where if it was on him, then it makes sense. Could have also been one of the other coaching staff just bumping into the officials because that happens at times. But regardless, blocking the back penalty on that amazing reception by Armstrong.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say, like, do I blame him? No, absolutely not. I mean, this is a huge matchup. This is, you know, 2 very, very talented teams, you know, arguably could be at the top of their conference. And 2 very well-known 8-man conferences, you know, possibly a spot at Florida on the line right here. Yeah, so getting fired up, I could see it. Yeah, that makes sense.
High snap, Musser will get the pass off there to Aaron Mann. He'll get just inside the 40, and you're absolutely right with the competitiveness in the conferences. I mean, the Pac Panthers last week with a great win to 2 points to South Haven, which could very well be a preview of the national championship if things play on. You have this game going on here that could also be a preview with close-knit. And Tennessee Tigers, it's a very competitive race in the Southeastern Extreme Conference this year. A lot of teams on the up. You've got Tigers, you've got Christian Community, South Haven, you've got the Freedom Cowboys are always competitive. It'll be interesting to see what their season opener is like in the coming weeks. So about 4 or 5 teams there that are sort of in this tight race as we get to seek playoffs.
Which Freedom won 48-0 last night.
Yeah.
So very dominant win.
And a mishandle on the snap. The ball still loose, still bumped through. Shades of Super Bowl 50 with the ball going loose, and it's finally recovered by Jed Thompson.
Yeah, just miscommunication right there. I don't know if you ever seen the clip, the 4th and 90 clip. It was Mississippi State versus Louisiana Tech, and they don't mean to. They just kind of lose the ball. Personally, I'm not rooting against anybody. Coach Cornett, if you're listening back on this, I'm not wishing harm on your team, any family, but I would have loved to see something like that where they roll the ball back all the way to the goal line. I don't know if you've seen that. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
I thought you would have liked my Broncos reference.
Oh, yeah,
that was the Super Bowl 50 with the ball going. It didn't go all the way back to the end zone, but
yeah, no, big fan of that.
But regardless, it's now a 4th and long. The Tigers forced to punt it in their own territory. And what started out with a great opening drive for the Tigers, they are now in a 6-point deficit. They've allowed 13 unanswered. And trying to go up for the catch there. There is a flag for, that'll be fair catch interference. I believe Kendall Hilliard went to, get the punt. But Noah Daniel picked it up for a good return to about the 23-yard line. At least it looked like Hilliard may have signaled his hand trying to go up for the ball, or it could have also been I don't know if there's a punt return interference penalty or anything like that, but
I also know they've changed the rule to where you had to signal it different.
We'll get the call.
We had catching interference on the kicking team. That penalty and result of the play was first down and 10.
Well, it's just kick catch interference, not punt interference, but.
Yeah, that was smart by Augusta right there to decline the penalty. I mean, they real good field position and a solid return too. Kind of like James says, again, making chicken pot pie, chicken scratch right there. Just pick the ball up, hit the sideline, and sets his offense up real nice.
Well, it tends to be a cliche among the games that we call, or at least times you say this is an impactful drive or this is one that's sort of crucial. 13 unanswered points so far for Augusta on this Tigers defense. Three-score run, in essence, for the Augusta Eagles is not what you want here if you're Tennessee. But they'll try to stop it here as they hand it off to Vossler, and took 2 to 3 Tigers to bring him down inside the red zone.
Yeah, and Vossler right there, great run, hits the inside, and, you can tell he hit the weight room this summer because you got 2 guys, maybe 3. You could say 3. He brings down to the ground with him on that run. Solid run for a first down, and I thought the Eagles would fly through the air. No, they're staying on the ground today. They're clawing their way to that Gatlinburg end zone.
Handoff, carry for Inglet. And maybe a yard or 2 on there to about the 12.
Yeah, solid run right there by Inglet. Just cups upfield. Nice design run. I've been a fan of these run play calls by both teams. Very well planned out. Very well. Both teams very well coached. Extremely well coached. Just solid defensive game plan and offensive game plan. From both sides. Of course, you were talking to Coach Adams. What were some points that stuck out to you after this play?
Well, a lot of good ones that we'll talk about in a minute. And in the backfield, you've got Vossler. Look for the pass off for it. Toss right side has got a slightly open man, but Owen Lane shutting it down.
Yeah, right there. He should have just zipped it in there. I think there was a miscommunication on that end. I think the quarterback was expecting him to hit that corner right there as we see on that replay, and he just kind of floated it there. And, the defense called up to him. That cornerback called up to him and knocked it down. So a little bit of a miscommunication/misread right there. But, of course, in your talk with Coach Adams, what's some key points that stuck out?
Yeah, we ended up talking about some of those things with Seek Media Day and other aspects. And I love there was one particular point that stuck out. We'll get to that in a moment as the Eagles line up again. Vossler, captain of this offense, will toss across the middle. What a good batted pass there by Jed Thompson to shut things down.
Yeah, it looked like that end zone, that throw he made last play would have been open. That back right end zone, he had a man, do like a little cross route and just didn't see him. Just didn't find him. But
yeah, Coach Adams, one thing he talked about is his wife actually posted earlier this week on earlier this week or last week on social media, showed a picture of him around midnight, 1 in the morning, finishing their helmets. And I brought it up and said it was cool, and he said, "They look good." He's taking very, very prideful on the helmet side with those white stripes. As this 4th down attempt is about 7 yards short, and trying to tiptoe I don't know if he got there for the first down to where they spot him. He'll get to about the 3. And he did actually. He only had to get to about the 5 or 4. And a first and goal on a 4th and about 7.
Yeah, and so, as seen on the replay right there, it looks like he may have touched out on maybe the 4-yard line, but nonetheless, it's a first down, Birds. I'm going to keep calling them that. I like saying that, Birds.
And we had a battle of the Patriots earlier. I think in total, maybe 3 or 4 teams that have been, their mascot is the Patriots, that have been a part of the Black Bear Brawl throughout the last 2 weekends. Now the Eagles marching on the door to get another score, trying to push through to the goal line. It's a touchdown, Vossler.
Yeah, fantastic run right there by the Eagles. Just kind of spreads them out and then hits that zone, that little outside stretch right there, as we see on the replay. Snap, and you got the 2 guys blocking to the left, and just kind of rolls in the end zone. Great play all around by the Birds.
I got to correct myself on there. Looked like an 18 with sometimes these scrunch numbers on the jerseys. That was 16. Pelham Inglet. He only had 1 rushing touchdown on the 2024 campaign. And he's added 1 to his stat line to start out 2025.
Not a bad start to the year.
And to try and make it a 21-7 gain, 2-pointer attempt here. It's being handed off. Luke Reese makes it look easy. 6:34 left to go in this second quarter. It's a 14-point lead, 21 unanswered points for Augusta.
James, I don't know if you can hear us, but we can't hear you. So if you've been talking to us, sorry, we haven't been ignoring you.
Oh. Well, those of you who are listening to the broadcast, if we heard that fourth wall break, James Shannon, our producer, my knowledge, he's troubleshooting some technical difficulties with our field cam right now and trying to figure that out. So I believe Theodore Fernandez is doubling over on the director and producer side, making sure the scoreboard is tight-knit. But 21-7 right now. This is starting to mirror a little bit of the first game with Faith Christian going on their respective run.
Yeah, Faith Christian, they went on that run, and they stayed on it. They stayed the course, and solid win right there by Faith Christian. What'd they win by, 35, I believe?
It was about 29.
29, okay.
No mercy rule. Onside kick attempt. It's picked up. Great effort there from the Tigers. Good onside kick recovery by Drew McGarry, the senior. And those ones, especially when you dive on it when the ball's still in motion, very dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous because, you know, that ball, I mean, you can never predict the way a football will bounce. Because if you dive on it and it bounces the wrong direction, hits a certain angle off your body, off your head, off your pads, off your helmet, man, that ball is squandering, no telling which way. And could cost your team in the long run for that. So a little bit of a risky move to dive on it. Solid recovery nonetheless.
Handoff left side, Aaron Mann trying to get some space. He'll get to the 45. So the Tigers will get into Eagles territory. Aaron Mann on the rush.
Yeah, solid outside zone right there by the Tigers. Mann with the solid run, but can we talk about the tackle from Nathaniel Reese right there? Man, he kind of brought him to the barnyard right there. That was, whew, it's a big hit. Big hit by the linebacker.
The second team all-conference right tackle for the SIFA last year at 81 total tackles, 53 of them on his own. What we call big boys on the defensive side. And a little bit of movement on the defensive line, but not enough for an encroachment. Everybody was looking to the side official to see if there was going to be a flag or not. No flag. 2nd and 6. Good toss. Russell across the middle. Couldn't get past the 2 defenders, but gets a first down. Finally brought down by Nathan Whiting.
As we see a flag on the far right side of us, excuse me.
On the offense, 5 yards previous spot, still 2nd down.
And again, you know, with these flags, it's like me coming home from college. It's a laundry day today. You like that?
That's one of those, I can't argue with it either, because I know my mom would always appreciate any of us coming home from college and getting laundry done at the house and everything. So that's but you have a little bit of a trek between Mississippi State back up to your neck of the woods in Jackson, though.
Oh,
so.
It's not bad. It's 3 hours, and it's just 40. It's
but I would say 3 hours for laundry.
No.
So he is 2nd and 11. Good toss left side, almost bobbled incomplete, but Aaron Mann got the reception and got the first down.
Yeah, and solid pass right there. Going back to the well with Mann right there. You know, last time on the ground, this time through the air. As we see the replay right here, just kind of hits a flare to the out left side and cuts it upfield, avoids contact, and hugs the sideline, gets out. Solid first down as the clock still rolls. 4:18 left to go in this half.
From the 37-yard line, new set of downs. Tigers have about 4 minutes left to go in this first half. Plenty of time to drive down. Across the middle, Dawson Toller tries to spin out of a tackle, but lost yardage there. Great effort by Nathan Whiting.
And it'll be interesting to see if they call forward progress right there. Does not look like to be the case. Great open mesh route right there. Gets in the field. He keeps those feet chopping, and man, he could have had more real estate had he just went down on there. But I respect the effort to get upfield.
First time out of the half for the Eagles. They'll burn it here at the 3:24 mark.
Eagles, first.
3:24 left to go in the second quarter. Both teams will get a chance to think it over here in Gatlinburg. Eagles got a chance to think it over on the defensive side of things, and they pride themselves on having a good defense. They've only allowed one score through pretty much one half, as Musser will take it himself, trying to get past the defense. How many tackles is this man going to avoid? He's finally brought down by 3 Eagles just outside the red zone.
Yeah, to answer your question, Spencer, almost all of them. I mean, you asked. Let's see the replay right here. Just cuts upfield. And just, man, you got to wrap up. If you're an Eagle, you gotta grab him by the waist, just tuck and roll right there. Just not a solid performance right there tackling by the Eagles. If I'm coach, this is something Faith Christian kind of struggled with in the last game.
Yep.
They were hitting them hard, but they weren't finishing the job. So right there, if I'm coach, I'm saying, hey, tuck and roll. End of story. Thank you.
from the 21-yard line. In the backfield, almost drugged down by the jersey. They ruled forward progress, and the coaching staff of the Tigers not happy with that, as it looked like Dawson Toller still had a chance to weave out and gain some yards.
Yeah, not to bring up last game too much, but there was a play like that in the last broadcast, and he looked a little upset that he couldn't trot that in for 6, and deservedly, I don't blame him. Deservedly so, he'd be upset.
2 minutes left in this first half, and keep in mind the Eagles will get the ball to start the third quarter, and they will burn their second timeout.
Eagles, their second.
They'll burn their second timeout of this first half at the 1:51 mark. The Eagles thinking about getting the ball back and scoring again. They have one timeout left, and the Tigers have surprisingly not used any of their timeouts yet.
Oh, they have.
Really?
They have one. They have one left, Spence.
They haven't.
Yeah.
Okay, it hasn't been updated in stadium, but each team having one timeout left to work with, and Eli Cornett, the defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Tigers, and our colleague here at 8-Man Extreme, will be working with us on the 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. games. Get to work some more, weave into. He gets to heavily sweat down on the field and then come up to the booth, get to cool off a little bit.
Yeah, it's hot down there, man. I couldn't imagine being down there in pads and a helmet. Ooh-wee, it's a hot day here in the mountains of Tennessee.
And you can even ask our colleague Preston McElhenney on the sidelines of how heated it is down there. I mean, with the field visit earlier on, and you were also going back and forth with the camera between the sidelines, so you know it all too well.
It's good exercise. I've been trying to do cardio more recently, and that kind of good for me. Exciting game. Towards the second half, it turned closer into a track meet.
After the timeout, one left for each team. The Tigers on a scramble. Musser trying to get past. He'll go down to about the 25-yard line. So we'll gain a little bit back after the major loss and bring up about 3rd down and 14.
Yeah, Musser right there. Just got to get the ball off. He almost faked me on the main camera here. I thought he was going to fire that ball, kind of pump fakes the defense. But, again, like I said, the Augusta Eagles defensive line, they've done a solid job of containing him. He can run. The dude can run. I can't lie. But they've their thing is damage control, and they've really limited the damage he's done today, I would say, fairly well.
And Coach Whiting mentioned that the team prides themselves on their defense and felt it was solidified last year with their opener against Tri-Cities, as the Tigers will burn a timeout.
Tiger first.
Okay, so we were situated there, so that's the first timeout of the half of the Tigers. Yeah, I thought they had all 3 of their timeouts because I didn't remember any stoppages throughout the earlier parts of the game.
Yeah, you were right. I was just looking on the screen. Don't trust me. Never trust me again. I was so wrong. Terrible, aren't I? Yep. I'm just kidding.
52.6 remaining in this first half here, and another one of these drives. You talk about when the pendulum swings one way or the other for a team. Already 2 timeouts burned by the Eagles, trying to preserve a chance for them to drive down the field. And they've had explosive plays throughout this first half, so it would not be uncommon for them with maybe if they use their final timeout, they get a stop here, get about they get a turnover on downs maybe with 30, 35 seconds. Not out of the question to potentially get a couple of chunk plays.
No, I personally don't think the Tigers are trying to, score as quick as they can. They've been grinding this offense all game, just going down the field, and they've kind of saved their timeouts for a moment like this. So well coached on the offensive side of the ball. I think they're just trying to go in the half with a little bit of momentum, with the score, so to speak. And it's the timeouts. If you don't use them, you lose them. So expect them to milk this clock and burn some timeouts to try to score.
He'll reverse it, looking for some trickery. Russell on the pass, and the catch for the touchdown. There is a flag. Is this going back the other way? We have a touchdown. Dylan Spears on the reception from Russell, but let's check the flag. I tell you, if this is defensive pass interference, this is Adams cooking.
Yeah. Can we talk about the play call after this? 'Cause that was awesome.
Waiting on the signal here as they have a discussion. It doesn't look like the players are moving back, so they're going to call that defensive. He's walking over to confirm with Adams.
Yeah, looks to be on the defense. Yeah, Coach Cornett is on the field. Looks like they're getting the kicking tee.
Yep.
On the kickoff.
So they'll enforce it on the kickoff. What a play call by Coach Adams.
Yeah, great play call right there. And then again, Spence, like I said, call me a liar at this point. They weren't going to grind it out. They weren't going to use all their timeouts, or I don't think. I can't. That's still to be determined. But yeah, and they went for the throat right here.
Russell on the hold. Orb Key on the extra point. 7-point game with 42 seconds left to go in this first half. And the Tigers, with a little bit of trickery on that last offensive play, they're within 7. Whitecap explaining that by rule they move it up 15 yards on the kickoff. So a kickoff from the 45-yard line. Wouldn't be surprised if we see an onside attempt here.
Nope, absolutely not. And 42 seconds left to go in the half. I wouldn't blame the Tigers if they try to, get this ball back and instantly, just try and punch Augusta in the throat right here, Take all momentum off the board.
And they won't settle for that. It'll just go down to the 10-yard line and into the end zone for a touchback. So it will not take any time off of the clock. And now 42 seconds and 1 timeout for the Eagles to work with.
Yeah, and smart play right there by the young man, just letting that ball sail out of that end zone and touchback. Smart. You put your team in better field position. The clock stops. You're not wasting as much time. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if Augusta kneels this one out, but we've seen crazier things, Spencer.
Probably have to kneel it twice with it being 42 seconds. So maybe they try to get a play going here. Maybe if it doesn't result the way they want to, go down to a knee, but especially because they do get the ball to start the second half. But we'll see what Coach Whiting will cook up here on the coordination side. And they'll send Somerville in motion. There'll be a keeper, some space here, might have a big burst, and he does. He's got it past the Tigers defense, and it's a touchdown, an 80-yard rushing touchdown in a second. He's trying to burn the clock as much as he can, but he's going to be brought down. Did he get tackled there? They rule him short. They rule him short with 19 seconds left in the first half. Short of the goal line.
Spence, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know if he did that on purpose or if that was unintentional because, man, it was right. He had 6 right there. I really am curious to see what they're saying on that sideline right now, but the Augusta Eagles. Maybe they're just trying for 3. I don't know.
Yeah, he had 6 there, but he did manage to burn down an extra 5-6 seconds with that play. And with the Tigers having 2 timeouts, likely they made the decision of. Okay, there was a flag on the field. They waved it off. Thanks to our official for the whistle there. And Coach has 1 timeout left, and they're going to let this run down. They're on the. There we go. Coach calling timeout. I was wondering for a second. You've got timeout. 1 yard.
Eagles.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that too. I didn't know if he was like trying to run it down to 1 second, so there's not a possibility of the Tigers getting a score, but just runs it down a little bit.
I'll look for it. Yep.
Thank you, sir.
And it looks like we still got that mute switch up there. 6.8 left to go here in this first half. 21-14, 7-point game, and I guess that's partially. I guess that is partially on a coach decision too for.
That's interesting insight.
Yeah. But we've had this stuff over the years where the referee is that's a good conversation. Anyways, halftime we'll get footage for you. The cheerleaders for the teams will do the respective halftime shows. We'll have that for you. And again, the Eagles receive the ball to start the second half, so a chance for them to double up. And the Eagle fan base starting to raise their voices to do their part. As you got Vossler with a man behind him. He'll shovel it back. Going into the end zone. Touchdown. Another 6 on the board for Augusta.
Yeah, and if I'm Augusta right now, I would have been real nervous right then and there. That pitch option, as we'll see, the replay right here. Snaps it, goes, pitches it. It just kind of slowly trots in the end zone. Almost had that knee touch the ground right there, but he breaks the plane.
On it out. Time.
So that was Pelham Inglet, and official giving clarification. It's 1 on time down. They let the clock run out. Just 1 on time down on the try. Griggs in position. Inglet on the hold. And it's a 14-point game in the Smokies. 28-14. Augusta has a 14-point lead. And this Tigers team is in a bit of a challenge on the ropes here, down by 14.
What's he doing?
Yeah, 14-point difference. It's a 15-minute break at halftime. We'll get you the halftime show here with cheerleaders, and that's another fun part about the Rocky Top experience, the Rocky Top Sports World, with the cheerleaders being able to highlight their skills. Same thing with the All-American game. They have several cheerleaders from all the teams that are nominated and then chosen to participate. It's another fun aspect of the competition, and an intense competition here in the Smokies. Down by 14 are the Tennessee Tigers to the Augusta Eagles, and Preston McElhaney will get with Coach Adams in a moment. And Preston will also talk with Joshua Whiting on the other side of the halftime break once he's done talking with his team. And Preston McElhaney on standby with Coach Steve Adams.
Where's record? It's recording. Okay. Like you see here on the red. Yeah, we're good.
Thanks, Preston. We'll hear from Coach Whiting on the other side of the halftime break. About 12 and a half left. 28-14, the Eagles leading over the Tigers in the 2025 Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl. started the second half in just a few seconds. Preston McElhaney is on the field with the Augusta Eagles head coach Joshua Whiting.
Coach, I got to talk to you. We had a very energetic first half. There was lots of trickery on the field. Both sides seem really frustrated, but it seems to be a good game so far. Only a 2-score game. I need your thoughts on the first half.
Yes, sir. It's a great team. Tennessee's a fantastic team, obviously very well coached, well conditioned, but it is hot out here today. I can tell both sides are feeling the heat. It's really hot down here on the field. But, I mean, both sides are playing really hard. Both sides seem to be coached pretty well. We got up a little bit, but right now it seems like a game of offense. I'm a defensive coach, so we're going to try to tighten that up, shut the game down, slow it down a little bit. I know fans don't like it, but I like it. So we're going to try to slow it down a little bit, play some defense, and have a good second half.
Old school gridiron. Thank you, Coach.
Gridiron. Thanks, sir.
Old school gridiron is what we have had so far in this competition. 28-14, Tigers lead over the Eagles here in the Smokies. And Blake, this is one of those competitions where you love to see the competition back and forth. You like to see these sort of comebacks and things, but for the Tigers, you definitely would have liked to see them make that stop at the end of the first half.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially, you know, with the way that half kind of ended. That dude kind of like taunted in front of you and burned down a lot of clock. And, you know, despite not getting in with a couple seconds left, they still scored. You know, if I'm Coach Cornett, I'm all up in my defense's ear. I'm yelling at the linebackers. I'm in with the cornerbacks. I'm getting on the defensive ends, D tackles, whoever. Gotta put a helmet through somebody's head here. If I'm the Tigers, really do have to up the physicality right now.
Very much one of those first halves where you wonder what the next step is. You mentioned Eli Cornett likely having intense negotiations, shall we say, with his defense. Not even negotiations on that part,
Yeah,
just
no
intense direction.
Yeah.
And justifiably so. I mean, you let a team go on essentially a 21-0 run before you managed to string together some good offensive plays and a drive down to the other side of the field, but allowed another score at the end. And now, unless you're having an onside kick here, the Eagles are going to get the ball back to open this third quarter.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% sure Eli had a, what Catholics call a coming to Jesus meeting with his defense.
The Tigers based within the Nashville area in Tennessee, and the Eagles based in Martinez, Georgia. And Tigers trying to get a stop on this kickoff return as Reese cuts around several defenders, trying to get past the final player. Finally wrapped up by Aaron Mann and company. And looks like we have a Tiger a little slow to get up. That's Isaac Orbkey, which it is not a good sign early on if you're having Orbkey with some issues as he heads back over to the sideline.
Yeah, and on the play right there, you see the kicker wraps up his foot. That's something Cornett probably talked with the defense over. Is, we saw it last game, we saw it this first half. One team really struggles to wrap up and finish the play. They have the bodies there. They're there, but they're not finishing. And that's a good job right there. Even if it's just around something as little as the ankle, if you wrap up, that man's not moving. So great adjustment right there by the Tigers of Tennessee.
First offensive play of the second half, as this will be carried in the backfield for a loss of about a yard or two. Good defensive stop by the line of the Tigers.
Yeah, great defensive stop right there by the Tigers. That was a solid run right there still, but, the Tigers came in there and just ate them up. Pun not intended right there. Man, that running back made him feel it. He did not make that couple-yard loss easy on him.
Yeah, Pelham England has been fantastic so far when he only had about 93 yards rushing on last year's campaign, and he's got another rush here that will go about a yard gain to make it a 3rd and 11. Here's Preston McElhaney.
I had the chance to talk to both coaches before and after halftime, but I think talking to Tennessee's coaching staff, he really had to say a lot about containing the quarterback and making sure that his defense is staying on top of things. That seems to be the big key in this one. He had a lot to say about the trickery and all the stuff that's been happening in this game, and I think we're going to have a good one from the remainder of this one.
And if there's anybody who knows about handling those sort of trickery plays and has seen things over the years, it's definitely Steve Adams.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Steve Adams has a deep coaching history. You know, coached MAIS, come from MTech.
Toss right side, open in the middle, cut through a tackle. This is a great reception and big gain trying to get past several defenders. Peter Somerville is all the way down to the 35-yard line, and a big chunk play for the Eagles.
Yeah, and Somerville right there, that's a great run right there. He took his men to Shelby County right there, all the way in West Tennessee. Great run right there, sideline to sideline almost, and these Eagles have been running real physical as of lately. Coming into this next half, it's I can respect a little bit of ground and pound, and you know, coach of the Eagles kind of said like, "Hey, we're a physical team. We want to ground and pound. We want to run the ball up your throat."
From the 35-yard line, a big gain by Peter Somerville, who was the team leader. As this goes up the middle for England, Somerville was the team leader of those returning on the receiving side. Most catches at 20, 359 receiving yards. In essence, anytime he got the ball, he was getting 18 yards per catch. And run up the middle for a gain of 1 on a 2nd and 9. And just like that, 3 minutes shaved off of this second half.
Yeah, he's showing he can be a real threat, you know, not only on the ground or in the trenches, but through the air as well. You put that man in open space and you know, one-on-one, that man's either hitting the turf with his ankles broken or he's hitting the turf with his back because he's got an arm in him.
1 yard gain for a 2nd and 9. Scramble for Vossler. Tried to get it in the area of Findlay Griggs. And I believe the Tiger coaching staff wanted an intentional grounding, but ball within a couple of yards of the receiver there.
Yeah, and I don't blame them right there, expressing their frustration with the lack of call after, you know, seeing how much dirty laundry we had on the field last half. I know the refs probably trying to, you know, give a little bit so they can move this game on, but, you know, I don't blame the Tigers right there for, you know, lack of don't think I'm shading the refs at all, but just, you know, the lack of the call right there. Personally, I think he was out of the pocket. I think it was clean.
Incomplete pass for a 3rd down and 9. And flag for a false start. We'll move it back for a 3rd and 14 on the 39. Right on cue about the dirty laundry comment with several penalties throughout the first half.
Yeah, so I really do wonder how many penalties on both sides and the yardage that is accrued at this point.
Eagles fans starting to make their presence known. Vossler, right side, deep toss, just outside the reach of Nathaniel Reese.
And that was a solid play right there. I don't know if we can get the replay or not on this. We're fixing to see, but he sends his man in motion from the left side out of the slot. Sends him in motion, just kind of does like a little freelance, like kind of wheel to that right side of the field and gets upfield. He had his man beat in coverage. Just the quarterback put a little bit too much mustard on it right there, overthrew him, and now the Eagles, you know, were driving, you know, got a penalty that kind of built up, and now they're staring at a long 4th down right here, Spencer.
Most people who are outside of the game would say interesting choice to go for it in this position. Not uncommon in 8-man football. Deep toss right side to get the conversion. He's got the catch. That same play worked on the second attempt to Nathaniel Reese, and he's got a first down in the red zone for Augusta.
Yeah, fantastic catch right there. Fantastic throw. That's what we call Tupelo. You get a little post, outside in, inside out, little streak to the outside wheel. That's a great catch, and that is a fantastic throw too, Spencer. That's awesome.
Tanya Vossler, we mentioned he was the only player for the Eagles returning who had any reps at the quarterback position. The junior in his debut for the 2025 campaign has certainly shown up and made plays when he's needed to.
He has looked solid so far, both on the air and in the ground. On the ground, excuse me.
Handoff. There's Whiting. Nathan Whiting gets brought down by Armstrong.
Yeah, good play right there. That's a what they call a shoestring tackle. Just grabs him by the feet to prevent him from walking in the end zone. We'd be talking about something different had he not been there to make that play.
Heading over to the sideline, Nathan Whiting. Get a chance to rest and recover a little bit. Both these teams do have tents on the sideline to try and help alleviate the sun, which they had a brief period with clouds. As the scramble for a Vossler is going to be brought down. Armstrong in again on the tackle.
Yeah, great contained play right there by the Tigers. They kind of look like their linemen backed up a little bit, but it was more the linebackers, so just kind of containing the inside second level, and then the D-line just kind of sat back and waited for the quarterback to make a decision, whether inside out, left, right, front, center, whatever floats your boat, so to speak.
Interesting note as well for the Tennessee Tigers on the tent side. They have 2 extra tents, so a little bit more extra room at halftime for giving the players some shade to alleviate the heat, as Pelham Inglet was not able to get past much. Loss of several yards on the play to bring up 4th down and 11.
Yeah, it looks like a miscommunication right there by the Augusta Eagles. Looks like their pull guard kind of cut out a little bit too much right by the running back and gave him a friendly bump. And running back fell down on the run. And now we're staring at a 4th down. And, considering Augusta converted a 4th and 29 last play, all odds are off the table right now, Spence. All bets are off.
And all they have is 19 to get into the end zone, but they need to get to about the 4. Big defensive stand here for the Tigers. Scramble, Vossler. He's not going to get there.
Yeah.
Turnover on downs for the Tigers.
Yeah, and the energy. Look at Cornette on the sideline. He's fired up right now. Great play call right there by Cornette, Adams, and co. for the Tennessee Tigers. Again, that's that linebacker drop back, contain, have everybody just kind of drop back and see where the quarterback went. Quarterback's showing some tendency to run inside if the pass is not there. So, I mean, that may be their play the rest of the week, or excuse me, rest of the day, not the week.
Could be with their schedule next week. They could make it a play that focuses for the next 7 days, but.
Mm-hmm.
But a turnover on downs for the Tigers, the first time they managed to do that this game. And so far, a total of 2 turnovers on the game, the other coming from an interception in the end zone that the Tigers' backs are to. And clock running with about 5 and change left in this 3rd quarter.
And here's what the Tigers like to do. They love to spread it out, then pound it inside or hit you on the outside with a good little post.
Musser, shovel, chance to Aaron Mann. Couldn't get past the wrap-up tackle. Luke Reese excited for that one.
Yeah, just trying to spread it out right there, just trying to get an open space. And the Eagles read it right. I wouldn't say that was a guess play right there, but, shoot, they got lucky guessing right side. I guess on the camera it's left side, more field if you're on the field right side.
Musser in the backfield with Mann to his right. 2 receivers on the far side of your screen. And same play, but instead it's a cut back over to the right. Ball is loose, and it's recovered by the Eagles. Chase Gay with the recovery. He had 2 of those on the 2024 campaign, and the Tigers with a costly mistake.
Yeah, and that's a heartbreaker right there. Musser thought he had it, and they just punched it out last minute. Oh, and Augusta gets it inside the 15-yard line, too. That is, man, if you're a Cornet right now, you're saying your defense, tighten up. Come on, tighten in. I know Titans fans like to say that a lot, but I'm not referring to the mascot. I'm saying tighten, like get tight. Lock in, guys. Lock in. Do the same thing. Kind of read where the quarterback or where the run's going to go and just go for it.
And first time out of the half for the Tigers. Adams trying to get his crew regrouped because they know how important this moment is. 3:50 left to go in this third quarter. A 14-point lead with the Eagles knocking on the door to make it 20. Yep. 3:50 left to go in this third quarter. One timeout burned by the Tigers in this second half as Pelham England goes to the right side. He's tripped up in the backfield by Asher Armstrong.
Yeah, right there. That's a great way to play, just horizontal right there. And just read the defense right there. Nothing upfield. Don't go too far back. Don't go too far in. Just set the edge and contain a little bit right there. It does bite down a little bit, as we can see on the replay. But that's a great job. Great way to get in there. A lot of speed on this Tennessee Tiger team. A lot of speed on the Augusta Eagles side, too.
Loss of 1 on the play for a 2nd and 11. As we've got about 3 minutes left to go here in this third quarter. Familiar formation for the Eagles. A batted pass, and it's ruled incomplete.
Yep.
Almost thought it could have been a split-second fumble there, but ruled a batted pass by the Whitecap. Lucky break for Pelham England.
Yeah, lucky break right there for Pelham England right there. Looked like he wanted like a little screen, and, you know, he's got 2 Tigers in his grill. And he's lucky they're not taking that the other way for 6 points on the board.
I tell you, these scrunch numbers are going to be the death of me. That was Vossler on the attempted pass there.
And Spence, I don't know if this is correct. Is it 28-14 or is it 28-13? Because remember we had that blocked PAT.
That was the blocked PAT was against the Eagles. They scored a 2-point conversion to make up for it. Couldn't get the shovel pass off thanks to the tackle from Jed Thompson.
Yeah, and what a series of plays right now by the Tigers. I mean, they're really honing in. They're really locking in. Again, I don't want to – okay, we're good now. And speaking of good, the Tigers' defense looks good right now. They've really locked in this half, and it's been nothing showing. Nothing showing on the run game, nothing going on the pass game. The Tigers have done a great job of getting in that backfield and scaring the Eagles away a little bit.
Fourth down and long, a situation that has now happened for the 3rd time in a row on an offensive drive for the Eagles. Second time within the 20. Deep toss left side, looking for the end zone. It's almost picked off by Dawson Toller, but it's a turnover on downs. The Tigers get it back.
Man, and what a stand by the Tigers right there. That's the second straight. That's the second straight 4th and out by the Eagles within their own 20-yard line. Solid job adjusting the Tigers have done. And if you're the Eagle, or if you're both sides right now, you got to get the offense rolling. You got to get some like vertical plays. You got to stretch it out. You got to get something going right now because both teams are kind of at a stalwart right now.
Second time that the Tigers have managed to force a turnover on downs, as now they get another set of offensive plays from their own 19. Air it out left side. Good catch. Dylan Spears at the 40.
Yeah, Spence, I want to say that's not a good catch. That's a great catch right there. That is a very physical. It's kind of like Gronk-esque. Go down the sideline and just catch it over his head, as we see the replay right here. Solid stance in the pocket, and he just goes over his head. That's a great catch and run and pass right there by the Tigers. And, don't look now. They're at the 40-yard line.
Big gain here for the Tigers out of the Nashville area. Move one of their receivers a little bit in, and that was Russell. Had to readjust. Russell cut inside, couldn't get the catch, just outside his fingertips.
Yeah, if I'm Augusta right now, Russell has time to throw in his pocket. Or, excuse me, not Russell, but the Tigers in general have time to throw, and he's not getting any type of pressure at all. Looks like as the Eagles try to go in Omaha, try to fix something up, they've got to get more pressure on the quarterback because he has all day to throw, what it seems like.
Musser has not really faced any sort of heavy pressure. It looked like in the first quarter they did, because the defensive line of the Eagles were really being intentional with their pressures. Need more of what they saw in that last play where he had to get it quick off. Here's another chance. Has to get it off, avoids the tackle. Quick toss, Dawson Toller with the catch, wrapped up by Noah Daniel.
Yeah, then again, there's that pressure, didn't get the chance to look at many reads down the field and hit his dump-off man. And solid game, but still not enough to move the chains. And they're going to be staring at a tough third down here on offense. So it should be pretty fun to see what Adams and crew will call on third down right here.
Gain of a couple of yards there. Make it 3 for a 3rd and 7. Brings up to the 43-yard line, still in Tigers territory. Third down in the final expiring seconds of the third quarter. Last play of this third quarter. And it'll result in a sack brought down by Hans Brace, who had 2 tackles for loss. No specific sack recorded last year, and he's got one to end the third. 28-14 the score. The Tigers face a 4th and long as we get into the fourth quarter, this 2025 Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawl match. 12 minutes remaining in this competition between the Tennessee Tigers and the Augusta Eagles. 28-14, Augusta with the lead. And on defense here for this fourth down, we have some movement early. I'm going to call encroachment or false start.
False start. Remains fourth.
Fourth down, move back 5 yards. Spencer Thompson, Blake Biggs, Preston McElhaney, our producer James Shannon, director Theodore Fernandez. We also got Brendan Daniel on the camera side here from Legion Field at Hammond Stadium, Rocky Top Sports World out in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, for game 2 of 5 on the day for the Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawls. This goes high up and hits off of that extra tent, and will be spotted out of bounds at the 46-yard line within Tigers territory as the Eagles look to march it down the field again to go back up by 3 scores.
And, yeah, I'll go ahead and say the Eagles, while I respect the ground and pound, would love to see them air it out a little bit. You know, again, like I'm a big Mike Leach fan, love the spread offense, love passing the ball, but, you know, would love to see some motion through the air. Their quarterback, both quarterbacks have an arm, and both quarterbacks have a great pair of legs that they can run with. But I'm very certain there's 2 on both teams. They're great wide receivers, and I want to see. I challenge Augusta right here on this drive to really air it out and showcase that talent through the air.
They'll start it here in the 46-yard line in enemy territory. They're going to stick to the ground game on this, and a spin out of a tackle. Luke Reese has got some space on the left side. One man to beat Luke Reese, trying to tiptoe. He'll be pushed out of bounds around the 27-yard line. And this Tigers defense has not had an answer all day for the Eagles' run game.
Yeah, and another play right there, another busted play right there that should have been a loss of, 5, 6, maybe even more as we see a flag on the field called on the Eagles. So that's going back, so all for none. I just wasted my oxygen, Smith.
As this gets moved back, I believe from the original line again, so a holding call on Augusta. Lucky break for the Tigers. They'll push this back to the 44-yard line.
And, yeah, while we see the holding call there, that's not to take away from the fact that both offensive lines have done a fantastic job today, Spence. Like, they really have freed up a lot of time and a lot of space for their quarterbacks and their running backs and just everybody in the backfield. It's been solid to see such good blocking in 2 games.
You think about as well the heavy heat and sun beating down on them. They have to face play after play after play. A lot of these players, you don't rotate the offensive defensive linemen that often in game. 1st and 20 at the 44. And a rush for a gain of about a yard or 2. And at this point, if you're the Eagles, time is on your side. 2 timeouts left for the Tigers to work with. So not a surprise that they're trying to rush it through, though, as you mentioned, you'd like to see more of a air game attempted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for the Eagles, I completely get it. Time is of the essence. Slowly grind away the Tigers, just put them to rest. But I will say, when they have went to the air, it's been strong, and it's been okay. And the Eagles, they got a solid quarterback. Why not,
On a 2nd and 19, the same play they did the last time where they just have Walter Fulbright take the ball, try to run up the middle, and loses a couple of yards here.
Yeah, looked like a little bit of miscommunication by the offensive line right there. See, and the announcers jinx, man. I was just talking good about you, and they, the defense just kind of runs up the middle and, eats his lunch right there. Not to take anything away from the way the Tigers defense has been playing in the second half at all, because, man, the adjustments they've been making, since then have been phenomenal. It seems like both offenses have kind of stalled out. credit to the defense where it's due, but it feels more of an offensive issue on both sides. I don't know if that's the heat. I don't know if that's, the turf conditions. I'm not really sure.
Coach Whiting talked about it with Preston at the start of the second half, of where both teams could feel it with the heat side of things. Toss right side, incomplete. Looked like he tried to get a quick pass off to Inglet, but couldn't get the reception. 4th and long.
Yeah, looked like he put that one too far out there, and looks like the running back kind of made a business decision not to I wouldn't say not to corral it in for a gain of yards, but, take a dive for it and possibly risk getting popped in the head as we see a 4th down for the Augusta Eagles.
If I'm not mistaken, this is going to be the first time the Eagles have punted all game.
I believe you're right. I believe you are correct.
We had one punt from the Tigers earlier on. Eagles have been able to convert on their 4th downs, and this is a punt for, I was about to say, trying to say a negative version of punt for the ages, infamous punt. So this one barely even, it didn't even get to the original line to gain. So
a little bit of a chip shot.
Nope.
A little bit of a 90-degree little chip shot right there.
You still mentioned the chip shot with them being around the Masters.
Yeah.
Second
that
reference
wasn't
on
intended.
That. But goes to the 43-yard line for a new set of downs, and time winding down here on the Tigers. Still about 8.5 if they could get a score here, but this is where stamina really comes into play, especially with the hot conditions. 1st and 10. Musser airs it out up the middle. He's got Armstrong. Armstrong gets brought down by Fulbright. A big gain outside the 20.
Yeah, great pass right there as we see the replay. Empty set, 4 wide. Quarterback has all day to throw thanks to those physical blocks by the offensive lineman, and a great overhead catch right there. Just really secures it in and gets some rack, run after catch right there as we see the celebration by Coach Cornett and his player. What a route too, Spencer.
Good offensive coordination to bring it to the 21-yard line. Now, Musser tries to get this situated. Musser is going to take it himself, avoids the tackle. Musser, one man to beat, touchdown. Did he fumble it before it hit the goal line? No, he didn't. Touchdown.
Yeah, touchdown either way because the Tigers, it didn't matter if he got in or not. Recovered it in the end zone. Solid run right there by Musser as we see the replay. Yeah. Oh, I wish we could slow that down right there. Looks like he got in from my perspective, though.
Yeah, that official had the best view of it from the sideline. It's one of those split-second plays because if he fumbles it in the back of the end zone, it would be a touchback.
Yeah.
But 8-point game now for this Tennessee Tigers team, and waiting for the players to get into position. They're going to go for 2 early on.
Yeah, not a bad move. You kind of have to, honestly, especially if you want to win this ball game.
Toss, incomplete. Low pass intended for Russell.
Yeah, just a little bit too low on that slant route right there. It looks like he was dancing a little bit with that cornerback. Maybe some extracurricular going on right there, but a little bit more of a low pass. Just could not corral it in. A little bit too tall.
And now reminded on this, Orbkey was hobbling earlier in their kicker for the Tennessee Tigers. To my knowledge, we haven't seen him throughout since he was hobbling there, so that's probably why they had a necessity to go for 2.
Yeah. Which kind of unfortunate considering, if you can kick one, whether it's a 50-50.
Yep.
I mean, it's more of a guaranteed thing if you have a good kicker. You can guarantee you'll get to that, multiples of 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, up and beyond. And especially in a game like 8-man where the 2-point is more kind of, it's variable. And you get a lot of scores like 6-8, 8-6, so on and so forth. If I had one guaranteed point, I mean, I would take. Would you not? I mean, that's math right there.
That's why I was wondering at first. I had to do recall there because I thought maybe Orbkey was, because he's been there starting the PATs. I had to remember he was hobbling out, and it looks like the same situation here as there. That's Mason Waldy, who's set to kick here for the Tigers, the junior, set to boot it off here. Beg your pardon. Beg your pardon. That is not Mason Waldy 9. That is 3 Dawson Toller who's kicking off here.
And looks like they'll be going for the onside kick on this one.
They do set it up here. Immediately caught Eli Reese. It's one of the more underrated things to talk about in high school football because over the years, we've certainly seen onside kicks go where there are players who are just, especially if you have some of the more inexperienced ones who are at the line that don't know what to do with falling on the ball or catching it there. But when you see those type of plays on the onside kicks, it's where you know they've either been trained well or they've been in a situation where they let an onside kick go and realize this isn't going to happen again on my watch.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so crucial to have a good special teams. I don't remember the exact saying, but I think it's special teams, special players, special plays. And, I mean, that holds true in a game like football.
Eagles back on offense with the shovel pass, backfield, tackle there. Pelham-Inglet tried to get to the outside and got a gain of, they'll spot him for 2, maybe 3. They'll spot him for 2 on a 2nd and 8.
Yeah, good pitch right there. Quarterback reads it. 3 Tigers right there, and just unfortunately – running back gets eaten up by the turf monster, which can happen a time or two, versus, playing on natural grass versus artificial. It can, there's variable differences. There's been multiple studies done on it. I know I personally preferred playing on natural grass other than artificial.
Keeping it himself. Shovel pass at the last second, but Asher Armstrong picks it off. If you can even count that as an interception, the Tigers with a big turnover.
Yeah, I believe it was because let's see if we can get the replay here. To me, from up here, it looked like a forward pass. May have been lateral, but it doesn't matter. Fumble or interception, it's a turnover for the Tigers, and that is exactly what they needed with 6:12 to go. I guarantee you the Tigers will spread this defense out, spread the defense out with their offense. Maybe hit their tight end, who's been quiet a little bit this game. Dylan Spears, man, he's made some great catches today for the little bit he's had. I would love to see the Tigers go back to him because it seems like nobody can guard him, honestly. Kind of curious to see if they want to run down this clock or if they just want to gun it down to Spears and get back in this game, pending the 2-point.
Vossler tried to make something out of nothing. He knew he was going down, shovel past it, but the senior with a big moment. And if we had a statistician, that'd be the great question of if that's technically a interception. We're sure you counted on that, but great move by the senior, and the Tigers have new life under 6. And they'll start from their own 46. Musser, air it out. Russell has got it through coverage. Russell inside the 20.
Yeah, fantastic play right there. I loved how they sent Spears in motion to kind of act as a decoy. Sent him in motion. They thought he was going to do the inside post or a little outside wheel. He kind of didn't do either. And they just sent Russell on a jet. And great ball right there by Musser. He's made a – credit to the young man. He has made some very good throws. I would love to see him play at the collegiate level because, man, that kid's got an arm.
He only passed for 153 yards on the 2024 campaign. Was essentially being the next man up mentality for respective players who graduated from last year. High snap. Musser, the ball's lost. It's lost again. Loose on the outside. It's recovered again by the Eagles. Luke Reese had 2 fumble recoveries last year, and he takes it away from the Tigers.
And that's got to be a headache for the Tigers right there. But fantastic defensive awareness by the Eagles right there. Just scoop in last second, get that fumble. A little bit of miscommunication by the Tigers, caused the ball to be on the landscape, and the Eagles picked it up.
Total of 4 turnovers now throughout the game. And now the Eagles with 5:04 can try to run this clock out, or at least chunk away a decent amount of it.
I would not be surprised if they try a cross concept right here with 3 wide.
And up the middle, Vossler has got space. Vossler has Armstrong chasing him down. Vossler, he cannot be stopped. He's going to try to waste a little more clock like he did at the end of the first half, and it's a touchdown for the Eagles off of the turnover.
Yeah, Vossler right there. Good job of staying, a little bit in that field and burning a little bit of clock, but ultimately getting in the end zone and scoring 6. No flags right there on the run with 4:41 left to go. Augusta just made a statement. They said, hey, we're going to take your ball away. We're going to take all your momentum away, and then we're going to go down the field and just snipe it. Just snipe it right there. And PAT ontoing, and the Tigers, they got a little hill to climb right now.
Especially without a kicker, because 15-point lead is what would happen if this PAT is made, and that one never really in doubt. 35-20, 4:41, a fumble recovery by Luke Reese, and a touchdown by Nathan Vossler. Coach Adams having a conversation with the officials right now, maybe something he didn't like there. And can you believe we still have several games after this?
I cannot.
It's
Nope.
always a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And just a reminder for you, we got a game here on the main field here starting at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. Competition between Cabarrus and Cincy Landmark. We have that here. And also have a game on 8-Man Extreme Tennessee going down on the lower field. Tennessee Heat. And another one of the Patriots teams facing off out of the 4 or 5 that are here, a part of the Black Bear Brawl event.
Making their 8-man debut.
And Evangel and Arundel Parrott will face off at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. That'll be here on the 8-Man Extreme channel. So now a 15-point lead. Tigers will see what they could do here on the kickoff return. This is Owen Lane taking it again, trying to find an opening on the outside. Couldn't cut past. And Luke Reese getting the fumble recovery and getting the tackle on the kickoff return. So the Tigers will start inside their own 35.
Yeah, very physical play right there by the Augusta Eagles, helping Lane up on the kick return. Maybe a little bit of extra Spanish on that hit right there, but fantastic return. Puts him in a decent field position, and man, if I'm this Tigers offense, if I'm Coach Adams, I'm saying you got to light some urgency under them. You got to put a fire under them. Spread the ball out, and again, hit Spears, hit Russell. Do what you can. Get it through the air, and just keep the ball in your hands. Don't put it on the ground. Ball security is the number one focus right here for the Tigers.
Similar to those big burst plays we saw from Augusta earlier on in the first half, something that the Tigers need right now is some sort of spark to make this interesting. Musser, he's got space. He'll take it himself. Musser will go to the outside. Gets out at about the 47. They'll spot him at the 48 and a half, or they actually go to the 49, and good awareness to go out of bounds to stop the clock.
Yeah, solid job by Musser right there. And like you said, good awareness to go out of bounds. Not only stop the clock, but to keep the ball in their possession. If he's tackled, there's a chance he fumbles.
And we've got an Augusta Eagle player down on the Tigers sideline. We will step aside for an injury timeout. Finley Griggs, the injured Eagle player, he was able to walk off on his own power, but was not walking in a normal fashion. He'll be looked at by the training staff here on site. And another high snap. Musser will get the recovery. He'll air it out up top, and it's incomplete just to save the play. Spears in the area on the pass. And you've got an interesting dynamic with both kickers now facing injury issues here in this contest going down the stretch. But now you also have this play with Spears, or attempted to Spears, I should say, where Musser, that's about the third time that it's been a high snap by the Tigers.
Yeah, it just looks like there's not enough communication or chemistry going on between the quarterback and the center. Yeah, I understand that every now and then the center may get a little bit high, but, I mean, the center and quarterback is that's a very important relationship. It's almost as important as quarterback and wide receiver. You know, there's a connection there. They got to be on the same page. So taking a little bit of time to just, see where they stand and move forward from here.
Musser, quick sling. Did he catch that on the
did.
sideline? Ruled incomplete and out of bounds.
I don't know. We'll see the replay right here. Looked like a catch in my books. As you see, Musser takes the snap, rolls out or drops back, and I really think he had the feet down, Spencer.
Tough from this angle, too. The side judge has the better perspective on that. You had a couple people who claimed it was a catch on the Tigers bench, but not the entire one going crazy. But, again, good last two plays to at least do in terms of time management.
Yeah, no, you kind of said it best. There's a lot of Tennessee's doing a good job, given the situation they're in, of managing the clock.
Musser on third down is going to air it out right side, incomplete. Another pass attended. They are now throwing it to Spears, but they now face a fourth down and long.
Yeah, just right there, the throw just was not there between Spears and Musser, and I don't want to jinx it, but this is the ball game right here for the Tennessee Tigers, and if they can't get this, Augusta Eagle will emerge as champs and of this game, the Black Bear Brawl, and James Shannon is getting some water poured down on him. Sorry to remind you.
He'd probably do the Ice Bucket Challenge now.
Yeah.
Well, all things considered, with it being almost 90 degrees here. Fourth and long for the Tigers. Maybe their last gasp to keep their hopes alive. High snap. Musser will air it out to Russell. He's got Russell potentially up top, but it's incomplete. Nathan Whiting on the coverage, and sometimes in those moments it could be an opportunity for a pass interference really great awareness and clean coverage by Whiting to force the turnover on downs.
Yeah, we see the replay right there. That's a very tight spiral. It just, unfortunately, the defender was in the right place, and he used his head for that play. Pun severely intended, by the way, Spencer.
Another note here for the Eagles on that last play. It looked like Jake Ferguson, one of their big linemen, was heading over to the sideline. Didn't look 100% as he's now at the bench area. 3:38 left to go here. Shade is helping a little bit for the players and also for Preston McElhaney down on the field and everybody else, coaching staff, cheerleaders, everybody. It's giving a little bit of help on the shade.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that shade would have been nice this morning, Spence. Ooh-wee.
New set of downs here for the Eagles as they just try to run things down. That's McGarry on the carry. And the Tigers are left with 2 timeouts. They used one earlier in the third quarter. Down by 15. This is one of those you wonder when Coach Adams will use his timeouts in any hopes to try and make it back from this 15-point deficit.
Now, Spence, remind me, is there a 2-minute warning?
No,
there's
not
not.
in high
okay,
school
not
football.
yet. Not yet, at least.
I don't know if they ever will introduce it, but at least for now, it's only in the pros in the NFL. So in that case, the Tigers would love if there's a 2-minute warning here because that would benefit them. But 2nd and 10. Vossler will go forward. He'll get the first down.
It looks to be a first down, and again, something that's just haunted the Tigers, this whole afternoon. Just got to finish the play. Just got to wrap up and take your man down where you meet him. And instead of letting him gain a few more yards, just got to take him down. And Tigers are staring at another first down on defense, and hopes are dwindling, Spence. Hopes are dwindling right now.
2 and change left in regulation. Augusta team that throughout the majority of the game they've been on the ground, so that's contributed to them being in this situation. As tackle for loss there, Luke Reese not able to get through the defense.
Yeah, one thing I want to compliment, this has been a hot physical day. The sportsmanship has been awesome today on both sides of the ball. No real jawing, no real chippiness, just good physical football. You love to see it, brothers in Christ just helping each other up and building each other up. And you love to see some good sportsmanship like that. You hate to see a fight, and, you wish the best for, especially on hot days like these, man. It can be real easy to get frustrated and, have that heat get to you. It's a mental thing, Spence.
And Coach Adams, you mentioned that their main focus for the season has been all about effort, to play smart, play fast, and have fun. And he was focused on coaching players instead of trying to generate wins. And they will go back to the drawing board after this competition as Coach Adams is going to burn his 2nd timeout with 1:05 left to go. It looks like it shaved down to 1:02 left in this 4th quarter. And similar sentiments expressed by Coach Whiting, too, and where Coach Whiting has said that the team embraces a sort of work ethic, and I think I mentioned this earlier, they would focus on the community and the wins would follow.
Yeah.
And since we're getting down to the final seconds on here, I do want to mention, too, for the Augusta Eagles, this is also a team that had struggles beyond the football field last year. Their community devastated by the hurricanes over in the Carolina areas, and I love Coach Whiting was talking about how they gave their full support to the community, and they really had a bonding where their players were, and he mentioned specifically similar days like this where you're hot and sweaty. I mean, maybe not hauling around tree branches like they were and trying to do what they could in the hurricane reliefs, but mentioned how it really helped develop. It was a center point of their chemistry and their development as a team during that situation where sports took a back seat. And certainly I wonder if they feel the same situation here in terms of the Heat if they're reminded of those long days last year. As you got Vossler with a carry, and the Tigers are going to use their final timeout of the game to try and at least salvage something here on a 3rd and long.
Yeah,
or 4th and long, I apologize.
Yeah, and Spence, you kind of said it best, with everything that happened last year and, the Augusta and South Carolina area. Yeah, I mean, it takes community. They rallied together. I mean, this Augusta Eagles team does look like a complete unit. And, also getting a note that, just both sides have been doing great today, showing sportsmanship. Coach Eli's been taking the back judge water. Everybody's looking out for each other today here at Rocky Top Sports World. I know Andrew Capp's been looking out for us. But back to the topic of the Augusta Eagles, I got to give him props for this. I know the coach is ex-military. They're extremely disciplined. And that's probably some of that ex-military bleeding over into his team culture. And, kind of instilling that in his team. And, they all look like they're a unit. There's no one that really stands, and I don't mean from a talent perspective, but, like, they're all in sync. They're all in a unit. And, I would love to see a team like this come down and play at Florida. They're a solid team. They play team sports. It's not about me. It's not about I. It's team. It's team first with the Augusta Eagles. So just wanted to compliment that and give recognition where recognition is due.
Yeah, basic training, probably not even close to as hot or difficult as the conditions he's coach is experiencing right now, as Vossler gets a break to the outside, will carry it another couple yards, and that will stop the clock for a turnover on downs of 45.3, and Tigers will at least get one more chance to try and make something to go here. But this Tigers team has certainly done their best in the situations they've been dealt through today. It's a lot of turnovers, killed them early on. The defense just didn't have an answer for Vossler and Inglet, and the passes that went off throughout the game. And it's very much one of those. I wouldn't even say it was a mismatch, because you got a close enough game with 15 points. And
there's still a shot in the dark. 45 seconds. You get a quick score and get the ball back. I mean, it's still possible, Spence.
We saw that. We've seen that happen. So toss, good catch made. Bobbled it a little bit there. Looked like it was Russell who got the reception. The clock's going to continue to run.
Tigers got to get on the ball, and it looks like they will.
They'll spike it here to at least do 24.4. Team trying their 2-minute drills. So at least going ahead, the Tigers do have a break after this. They've got 13 days until they face off against the Colts, so they're on a bye week. They have a 3-game home stretch against the Colts of Christian Community, the Knights of Lancaster Christian, and then the Knights of Riverside Christian going through that 3 weeks. So they at least have a week break, get to recover, as they will go 1-1 on their regular season record. And for the Augusta Eagles, they will start out the season 1-0 as a sack here on Musser. That should about do it. The Augusta Eagles, they will head on the road next week to Westminster Christian, but they will do that at a 1-0 record. The Tigers are looking to match the amount of wins they had in their opening season last year, as they will go 1-1 into the bye. And the Augusta Eagles were intentional today to start out undefeated on their regular season. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to wrap up our coverage. You'll see the prize presentation for the most valuable player for the Augusta Eagles. They'll get presented with sort of a chain and a, I don't know if you could call it a medallion, really, because it's much larger than that. And they'll get a Lombardi-style trophy for the winning team. Andrew Capps will be presenting that in a few moments here. The Director of Business Development and the coordinator for all of the Gatlinburg All-American Series. And I get to present this stuff. We got about 40 minutes until the kickoff of this next 4 p.m. game here at Legion Field, Hammond Stadium. A good 11-man matchup between Cabarrus and Cincy Landmark. Theodore Fernandez and James Shannon, along with Preston McElhaney, will have the call on that one. And then Evangel and Arendelle Parrott face off at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. I'll be here with Eli Cornett and Preston on the call for that evening game here from the Smokies.
I feel like I should mention, if you want to catch more 8-man football here in a little bit, down on the other field, catch some Tennessee Heat and American Sports Prep action. So
yeah, that'll be on 8-man Extreme Tennessee. So should be a fun one, as they're going to get the most valuable player presented and situated here. For Blake Biggs, Preston McElhaney, our producer, James Shannon, director Theodore Fernandez, all the hardworking men and women that make this run so smoothly. I'm Spencer Thompson saying so long from Gatlinburg. The Eagles of Augusta start out 1-0 on their regular season record. All the Tigers fall to 1-1. Well, one last thing before we sign off here, ladies and gentlemen. Preston McElhaney is with the most valuable player for this matchup between the Tigers and the Eagles. Preston?
All right, man. Thank you for your time. Go